Dear listeners, welcome to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time, unearthing the secrets of civilizations past. Today, we find ourselves in the midst of a most fascinating tale, that of the enigmatic Etruscans. The Etruscans, a civilization shrouded in mystery, have long been a subject of intrigue for historians and archaeologists alike. Their unique culture, which flourished from the 8th to the 1st century BCE, has left an indelible mark on the development of Western civilization. As we explore the earliest history of the Etruscans, we find ourselves transported to the sun-kissed landscapes of central Italy, where the Apennine Mountains meet the fertile plains of the Po Valley. It was in this region, around 1000 BCE, that the Villanovan culture emerged, laying the groundwork for the eventual rise of the Etruscan civilization. The Villanovans, a Proto-Etruscan people, inhabited the areas surrounding present-day Bologna, Verona, and Florence. Their name is derived from the village of Villanova, where archaeologists first discovered evidence of their existence. These early inhabitants of Italy developed a distinct culture, characterized by their unique funerary practices, which included cremating their dead and burying them in urns. As we journey through the centuries, we find that the Villanovans were not isolated from other civilizations. They maintained extensive trade networks with neighboring cultures, including the Latins, Umbrians, and Greeks. The exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies had a profound impact on the development of Etruscan culture. We see evidence of this cultural cross-pollination in the Bucero pottery, which dates back to around 700 BCE, and in the early examples of Etruscan art, such as the famous warrior of Capistrano statue. One of the key figures involved in the development of Etruscan culture was the enigmatic Demaratus, a Corinthian nobleman who arrived in Italy around 660 BCE. According to legend, Demaratus introduced the Greeks' advanced knowledge of engineering, architecture, and art to the Etruscans, which would eventually shape their unique cultural identity. As we explore the earliest history of the Etruscans, we begin to uncover the threads that weave together the tapestry of their civilization. The precursors to this enigmatic people, the Villanovans, laid the groundwork for the cultural and artistic achievements that would later define the Etruscan era. We see glimpses of this emerging culture in the construction of complex drainage systems, such as the famous Ponte Sodo, which dates back to around 600 BCE, and in the development of advanced agricultural practices, which allowed them to cultivate the fertile soil of Etruria. The early Etruscans were also known for their sophisticated urban planning, as evidenced by the construction of cities like Tarquinia, Caere, and Veii. These urban centers would eventually become the hubs of Etruscan power, culture, and commerce. As we delve into the most pivotal moments of Etruscan history, we see a civilization that is truly flourishing. The 6th and 5th centuries BCE were a time of great transformation for the Etruscans as they established themselves as a major power in central Italy. Their cities, such as Tarquinia, Caere, and Veii, became hubs of commerce, art, and culture, attracting merchants, artists, and intellectuals from all over the Mediterranean. One of the key factors that contributed to the Etruscan success was their advanced knowledge of engineering and architecture. The construction of complex drainage systems, such as the famous Ponte Sodo, which dates back to around 600 BCE, allowed them to cultivate the fertile soil of Etruria, making them a major agricultural power in the region. Their expertise in urban planning also enabled them to build sophisticated cities with well-designed infrastructure, public buildings, and monumental architecture. The Etruscans were also renowned for their artistic achievements, which were heavily influenced by Greek and Mediterranean cultures. The famous warrior of Capistrano statue, with its intricate details and naturalistic style, is another example of Etruscan artistry. The tombs of Tarquinia, with their vivid frescoes depicting scenes of everyday life, mythological creatures, and ritual ceremonies, provide a unique glimpse into the Etruscan worldview. The Etruscans were also a deeply spiritual people, with a complex pantheon of gods and goddesses that reflected their cultural and geographical diversity. Their religion was characterized by a strong emphasis on rituals, sacrifices, and divination, which played a central role in their daily lives. The famous Etruscan discipline, a collection of sacred texts that outline the principles of Etruscan spirituality, provides valuable insights into their theological beliefs and practices. As we explore the Etruscan civilization at its peak, we see a people who were deeply connected to their environment, their culture, and their traditions. Their unique blend of Greek, Italian, and Mediterranean influences had given rise to a civilization that was truly greater than the sum of its parts. The Etruscans had created a distinct identity that was characterized by their advanced knowledge of engineering, architecture, art, and spirituality. The Etruscan legacy can be seen in the many cities they founded, including Rome, which would eventually become the capital of the Roman Empire. The Romans, who were heavily influenced by Etruscan culture, adopted many of their architectural, artistic, and engineering techniques, which they adapted and transformed to create their own unique identity. The Etruscans may have left behind a mysterious legacy, but their contributions to Western civilization are undeniable. Their advanced knowledge of engineering, architecture, and art, combined with their unique spiritual practices and cultural traditions, have left an indelible mark on the course of human history. The Etruscans may be shrouded in mystery, but their achievements continue to fascinate and intrigue us, offering a glimpse into a world that was both familiar and yet utterly unique. The 4th and 3rd centuries BCE were a time of great upheaval for the Etruscans, as they faced numerous challenges that would eventually contribute to their downfall. The rise of Rome, which had been heavily influenced by Etruscan culture, posed a significant threat to Etruscan power and independence. The Romans, who had once been allies and admirers of the Etruscans, began to expand their territories, conquering many Etruscan cities and incorporating them into the Roman Empire. One of the key factors that contributed to the Etruscan decline was their inability to adapt to changing circumstances. The Etruscans, who had once been a major maritime power, failed to maintain their naval supremacy, allowing other nations to gain control of the seas. This loss of maritime dominance made it difficult for the Etruscans to trade and communicate with other cultures, isolating them from the rest of the Mediterranean world. The Etruscan economy also began to decline, as their agricultural production decreased due to soil degradation, over-farming, and lack of innovation. The construction of complex drainage systems, which had once allowed them to cultivate the fertile soil of Etruria, was no longer sufficient to maintain their agricultural output. As a result, the Etruscans were forced to rely on imports, making them vulnerable to economic fluctuations and dependent on other nations. Despite these challenges, the Etruscan culture continued to thrive, albeit in a more limited capacity. The Etruscan art of this period, characterized by its simplicity, elegance, and attention to detail, provides a glimpse into the daily lives and values of the Etruscan people during their decline. The tomb paintings of Tarquinia, which depict scenes of everyday life, mythological creatures, and ritual ceremonies, demonstrate the enduring importance of spirituality and tradition in Etruscan society. As the Roman Empire expanded, many Etruscan cities were absorbed into the Roman state, and their cultures began to merge. The Romans adopted many Etruscan architectural, artistic, and engineering techniques, which they adapted and transformed to create their own unique identity. The final blow to the Etruscan civilization came with the Roman conquest of Velsna, the last remaining Etruscan city, in 264 BCE. The Etruscan people were assimilated into the Roman Empire, and their distinct identity began to fade away. However, their contributions to Western civilization, including their advanced knowledge of engineering, architecture, art, and spirituality, continue to inspire and fascinate us today. The Etruscan people may have disappeared into the annals of history, but their achievements continue to shape our understanding of the ancient world and inspire us with their unique culture and contributions. As the Roman statesman Cicero once said, the Etruscans were a people of great wisdom, skill, and creativity who left behind a legacy that will be remembered for centuries to come. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the history of the Etruscans. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.